Hello, this is Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with...
Dad?
And this is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. What are we making today?
Homemade tomato sauce.
Alright, so this episode is going to be a little different. We're starting with...
Tomatoes.
Homemade, or homegrown, well not really, but they're locally grown tomatoes. And this is going to be a little different because we're going to show the stuff...
And those, the plum tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a long... They call them plum.
Yeah.
But that's not really a plum, because the plum has a round one. This is like a prune, little big prune, long one.
Mm-hmm. And now we're going to clean them.
Okay, we got the tomatoes in the sink. We wash them, and then we get them ready for. We're gonna cut them and put them in the pan and cook them.
Show them like a thing that you want to cut off. If you see something,
you take this. This is what the tomato attached to the plant. You take that off this way. You don't get a hard part.
No, but I'm saying like
if there is some part like this one, it's got a little thing in it.
Yeah, like if it's a little bruised, you might want to cut that out.
Yeah, you take them off and make sure that otherwise that gives a bad flavor to the sauce.
Right. So we want to have I'm not exactly sure how many pounds of tomatoes. We'll have it in the video description because we're going to be doing this a different way. We're basically showing how to make homemade tomato sauce two different ways, which is going to be really interesting. So we're just going to clean and cut them. And what do you want to say, Pop?
This is from scratch. Like you start tomato sauce, you can buy the tomato in the can. This is from scratch. No, you buy the tomato and you gotta cook them and grind them and everything. Yeah, that's the whole process that they do in the one you buy in the can. They do them in the factory. Okay, now we cut the tomato in fourths like this, and we put them in the pan.
Yeah, you're gonna need a big stock pot for this or a big pan.
But in the way we're gonna do them today, this is a very good pan because we're gonna use the submersible
immersion blender.
Immersion blender. So this one is just right. That's not too tall, because if you use one too tall, then and won't work right with the submersible blender because it's gonna go over what the electricity is.
Right, yeah, and you're gonna yeah, at this point we're just showing you two different ways we're gonna do it. This is the way that we do it, like when my dad ends up, because he ended up on a whim picking up a bunch of tomatoes, and we decided to make our own sauce, which we used to do back in the day. Not as much anymore. But if you're interested in any other canning techniques that we're going to be doing, because we're also going to show how to can your own tomato sauce. If you're interested, we're going to be doing other episodes of canning things as well.
Okay, in the pan right now there is about 8 pounds of tomato. We're going to cook them, start to cook them. We put, as you can see, a little less than half a glass of water. This way they don't stick on the bottom. I'm going to put some basil that gives them a nice flavor.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to add the basil.
Oh, no. If you don't like basil, you don't have to use it. You get a plain sauce.
Yep. Well, we've been putting any salt or pepper in it.
No.
No. This is just
I don't use salt and pepper.
So we're gonna let this cook down.
And then
we'll come back.
I got another pound and a half to pound and 3/4 tomato. As this one starts to cook, it cooks down. I'm gonna add those in it.
Right.
And
yeah. So in total, we're gonna have 9 3/4.
9 3/4 pounds.
And yeah, we're just gonna let this cook, and I'll come back and show you as it starts to reduce what it looks like. All right. As you can see, the sauce has started to you know, the tomatoes are breaking down. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but you're going to stir it a little bit. and get it down. And now here's where we're gonna add the rest of our tomatoes. Right here. And we're gonna let that continue to cook.
The tomato, they all cooked and they're ready to be ground up with the blender.
Right, but it's been about 20 minutes since I added those other tomatoes. So overall about 40 minutes if you're cooking on medium-high heat.
But if you use a pan a little bit bigger, you can put them all on one time.
Right.
Then it's only 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes the most.
Yeah.
And now that's ready to be grind.
Yeah. One thing about this is you let it cool for about 15 minutes before we started the immersion blender. Now with this recipe, with this version of the tomato sauce recipe, you're obviously going to have skins, some tomato seeds, and a little bit of pulp maybe. But the thing about this is like a base. This is like a base.
That's like the thing that you buy in the store to make sauce.
Right.
So you got it like crushed tomato. You know, when you make the sauce for the pasta, you usually you have your own ingredients like beef, pork, whatever.
This is basically going to substitute for your
you crush tomato from the can.
From the can, pretty much. And of course, it is cheaper to make this than it is to buy the can. But who could do all that work? We just ended up having a bunch of tomatoes.
Okay, this is what you get. That's not that liquidy. That's pretty good. See, as you can see, it's almost all pulp. There is seeds and some skin and the skin because
Right.
the one they make commercially they take the skin off.
Mm-hmm.
This no, the one you make. If you want to take the skin off, you gotta warm it up. No, put them in the boiling water for a second, take them out, and then you peel it. The skin will come off, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is let this sauce
cool off,
cool completely,
and then you could. We're gonna put them in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, we'll show you what you can do with them because this is a great. Yeah, because like we mentioned earlier, this is a great way to start. Like use a starter sauce to replace any cans that you might have, especially if you picking up a lot of tomatoes and you don't really know what to do with them. But we also have another method which we're going to show you. That's basically how we're going to can them and have them stored for some time.
Okay, now that that's cooled off, that's not cooled all the way, but that's a little warm. We're gonna put them in Ziploc bags.
Yeah, and look who showed up, my mom. Yay.
Hello.
So yeah, we're gonna be showing.
So
you...
what we're doing is we're putting our gallon bag inside a bowl, so it'll kind of stand for you.
Uh-huh.
Makes it easier.
Yeah.
And then I usually twist the bag at the top inside out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So Ma, we were discussing with you, how long you think if you took this sauce, right? Let's say you took it from right here and you put it in the refrigerator in a container. How long you think you can keep it fresh?
Oh, you probably could keep it for a good week.
A good week.
Uh-huh.
And now if we took this sauce and we put it in the freezer, how long do you think it would stay?
I would say about 6 months.
Okay. Because it's good to know how long this is going to be. But we're also going to show you a second way to process these tomatoes as well. So we're going to fill these bags up.
Now you can't fill them right to the top.
Right.
Because you have to leave some air room in there. And remember, when you freeze something, it expands.
Right.
So you don't want the bag to break on you.
Yeah, so you want to leave some extra room for expansion. And as you can see now, she's taking the bag out and holding the bag now. Yeah, and you just want to be careful doing this because it can be tricky. You're probably gonna get a little messy. Any other tips, Dad, or anything like that?
No.
Just gotta fill it up in a Ziploc container.
Okay, so now this is probably about half filled here, okay?
That's enough.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we are going to try to grab it from the bottom, okay, to get as much of the air out.
Leave a little bit open. Leave a little bit open. That's why you take the air out. Okay.
Okay, and most of these bags have something that you can write on, so you're going to write your date on it and say what it is.
Yeah.
Now, when I lay it into the freezer,
Because we're gonna put ours in the freezer.
can you see what I'm doing here?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so I try to keep
Keep
it
'em
like
flat.
this, flat, okay?
Yeah.
And let it like lean up against something so that this piece stays, it doesn't get full of the
Yeah.
sauce.
Above, yeah.
Okay, and then you're gonna freeze it.
Right. And that's a simple way to make your own tomato sauce.
Okay, as you see, we cooked the rest of the tomato we had. That's another batch for just the same way we did them yesterday. No, a little basil and the tomato, and the same in this pan over here. Next thing we gotta do, we gotta sterilize the jars. So we're gonna put them in this pan. There is a water in already, and they're gonna boil for 10 minutes to be sterilized. After that, we fill them with the tomato, crushed tomato. This is another machine that you could use to make if you want to make a puree. No, you put the tomato inside here, you cook them and you put them inside here, and then you turn this one that push the tomato out, and all the pulp comes out with the water. There's gonna be a lot of water, and the seeds and the skin comes out over here, and that's what I used to do when I used to do the puree. And if you gotta do them by hand, I know that's hard. I had this little piece, it just fits in here, and I used to put them on a cordless drill, and you start to spin it. If you want to use the sauce the same day you make, the puree, you can use this food mill. You use them because if you want to make a lot to save them and use them later, it would be a lot of work with this and to do this. But if you want to do just a batch that you want to use the same day, you can use this food mill. That's the new batch that we got. We're gonna just grind them with a submerged blender, like we did it yesterday, and we use them.
Yeah, but the difference is we're going to can these so
the
that we can
only
save
difference is this one we're gonna put them in jars.
Right.
This way we could put them and use them later.
Yeah.
Instead to put them in the freezer. And the best thing for this one, like if you want to use them, the one in the freezer you gotta defrost them and then and using it. And this one you open the jar and you put them in it like you do with a can. The jar, the whole sanitized, they boiled it for 10 minutes. Now we're gonna take them out and fill them with the
sauce.
With the sauce, the crushed tomato sauce.
Right.
And these two wanted to grab the
Very hot.
the jar that they hot.
And the other is a funnel
Wait,
here. This is a funnel that you're gonna put.
They're very hot, so
Yeah.
you probably gonna need a, like a nut thing to hold them, and then you turn them around. And then you use this funnel, you put them on top of it, and you fill the jar.
Yeah. And yeah, we're just gonna fill them up. We made 7 jars here.
Oh, well, we don't know if they're
We
gonna
don't
be
know,
7.
yeah, we don't know if we're gonna have 7.
Whatever.
We gotta make sure to leave a little space so that we gotta keep some air, because what's gonna happen next, which is different than when we can other things like jellies or even apple butter. That's good. Even apple butter, you have to actually go put these back in to boil some more to get rid of any excess stuff.
Okay, the jar is full in the way it is. Now we close it. It's a cover, and then the lid, the thing that's gonna hold the cover in place.
Yeah, you want
Make it. You want to make sure that that's tight. This way the water doesn't get in it.
Yeah.
Just the hair is gonna come up.
Yeah. And I don't remember how many pounds. Well, if you're doing like we did yesterday, you had 9.75 pounds of sauce or tomatoes. You probably make, I don't know, a couple jars if you're looking.
No,
at big
more
jars.
than a couple of jars. A lot more than a couple of jars.
Well, we had quite a bit of sauce.
Yeah,
there.
there was this almost full.
Yeah. So yeah, you want not all the way up to the top because
I'm
just telling the people. I'm telling the people.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's what you would.
I'm not talking to you. You know how to do it.
Okay. Put the lid. And the ring that keeps them in place.
You got just the ring.
Yeah. And you gotta make sure that the ring is tight.
Yeah, so we're just gonna can the rest of them, and we'll be back to show you the next step because there's more than just before when you're doing jellies or jams.
Okay. With all them crushed tomato we made a 6 full jar, and plus 6 3/4, 6 or more than 3/4. But we can boil the 3/4 because there's too much room. Can't do it. Now we're gonna put this one back in the pan, fill them with water. It's gonna be at least 1 inch above the jar, and let them boil for 40 minutes. Okay, now we're ready to boil the jars, and the water. See, that's 1 inch above the jar. So we're gonna boil this for 40 minutes.
Yep. And then when we come back, we'll show you. Obviously, it's got to cool off. But the reason why we're doing this is why.
When we take this one out, we're gonna put them standing on the island, and they got the covers. You're gonna hear a little pop because it sucks the air out and it seals. When you hear the little pop, you put your finger on it. It doesn't go up and down. That means they're okay.
Yeah, they're sealed. But yeah, the reason why you have to boil, or you have to, what they call in the business, process it for 40 minutes is because you gotta be able to cook out all the germs. It's gotta reach a certain internal temperature, enough to where germs are gonna be dead, and there's not gonna be any kind of botulism or anything inside. So we're gonna come back when this has been boiling for 40 minutes. It has to get to boiling and then boil for 40 minutes. And then we'll come back, we'll show you what we do next.
Okay, after 40 minutes of boiling the dissolve, now we're gonna take this jar out. This thing, it comes up, and you just set them like this.
Very nice. All right, so we're taking the sauce out,
We're gonna put them over here.
and we're just gonna place it over here. And this is where you're gonna want to have it sit, and it'll eventually pop, right? You'll hear popping noise.
You hear a popping noise.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Then you have yourself canned sauce. This can probably stay in your freezer, or
No,
not in your freezer, you know, just store
You
it. For
cup
for how long you think?
until you use it. It can last even over a year.
Oh, that's good. Over a year. All right, so here's the final product. You see, I put some on some pasta so we can try it, and my dad's got the jar there of the sauce. But yeah, we're gonna take a bite. Here, Pop, have a bite too. Something about it, you just get the freshness of it. You get the tomatoey taste. You get a little hint of basil, because there's a little basil in there. But yeah, this is good. It's just like the base sauce, and it's just really good just by itself. You can add some extra seasoning, right, Dad?
Yeah, if you put a little oregano, you get the marinara sauce.
Yeah, and there we go. So yeah, this is a good way to can your own tomatoes if you got a whole bunch. If you end up buying a bunch, and we showed you how it's done. So I've been Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
That.
and this has been another Cooking with Kenshin1913.
Buon appetito.